weeks to go until WrestleMania 40. Yeah, I'm calling out all you so-called content creators who can't seem to create enough content to keep the people satisfied. I'm challenging each and every one of you to release a new video between now and WrestleMania 40, yeah, so that I'm not the only one shouldering the burden inside the squared circle. First up, Liam and Sam, the tag team champions known as Retrobotics. Let's see an update on your lunar lander or space station projects, because the sky is the limit and space is the place. Nothing means nothing. Nothing means nothing, and nothing is exactly how much content you produced this year, Jeremiah Jackson. Your cup of coffee in the big time ain't over yet. Quit hiding in the coin-op corner and release those Pac-Man repair videos. And Kay from Prime Arcade, you play by different rules with your grandstanding and your hot dogging for the TikTok pukesters. We've seen you down and out, digging through the garbage for old TVs with reckless abandon. You need some direction. Josh and Chance from the Canadian Arcade, you guys think you're the fastest guns in the West, East, South, and North. We've been waiting on a Mario Bros. Project update for 2 years. Del from DeLuSioNaL's Arcade, I'm eyeballing you right through this here video scope, acting like a showboat and a prima donna with your high production values. Enough with the tours and fix something. People are always asking, what would Jeff Kinder do? Let me tell you something right now. It doesn't even matter. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. Doing the thing like nobody ever does before with the best hair in the business. I am the cream of the crop, the Intercontinental Arcade Restoration Champion. But when I was struggling with the Matsushita monitor, Sean from Classic Arcade Repairs, you could just sit back with your feet up watching the champion in action. You jumped into the ring to make that critical save with the working flyback. I went from living in a nightmare to a moment of glory. And the champion thanks you. To anybody who calls Mike's Amateur Arcade Monitor Repair an amateur, I say you're a liar. That's enough to get me hot. Get me to the boiling point. There's nobody that does it better. I'm talking about all the way to the top. A man in my position could never afford to look ridiculous, like having an Irish kangaroo with no bezel. I'm still in a state of shock that Ron and Joe from Joe's Classic Video Games sold me one when I needed it the most. Happened so fast you can't even talk about it. Tighe Lory, they call you Uncle Tiggy. Always chirping, always got something to say. You might not like it, but accept it. I've been maligned from the top to the bottom for no reason at all, but I won't stop styling like a champion. Over at Troy's Restorations, things are just popping right now. Things are starting to cultivate, things are starting to grow, things are getting real colorful. With the cards stacked against you, you've got more to offer. And now here I am, unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. Gonna hear about it from all the other channels I failed to mention. Didn't need them then, don't need them now. But I'm challenging all of you to a no-holds-barred Royal Rumble. That means you, Arcade Archive, Arcade Hollywood, Arcade Jason, Arcade Repair Tips, Arcade Woodshop, Arcadenut, ArcadeRestoreNewb, Arctic Arcade, Big Moon, Raedel, Brady Does Projects, Buffett, CaptNRetro, Coin Rejects, Cosmic Cottage, Dillweed, DinkyFLIX, Electric Starship, Encore's Arcade, Fremont Ave Experience, Hector Fly Rodriguez, Jacklick, Kapow, Kazelas Arcade, Killer Arcade, Luke Morse, MCC Just Case, Off-World Arcade, Operation Restore, Pac-Man QC, Banner Station, Random Fun and Games, Arcade Radio, Retro Ralph, Sam's Arcade Fix, She-Lion, Slick Nick, Smoke Break, Snus Tube 64, Steve Lanny, That Tim Guy, Todd Tucky, Trevor 42532, Vintage Arcade Gal, Wicked Arcade. Now let's snap into it. Ooh, yeah!
Overtime!
So I recently picked up 3 JAMA PCBs, and in this episode we're going to test them all out and hopefully find that all 3 are working. In honor of WrestleMania 40, the first one's going to be WWF Superstars from 1989 from Technos. And yeah, I'm really excited to hopefully get this working and play a little bit of WWF Superstars leading up to WrestleMania. So I bought this PCB untested. And before you say anything, I know I'm generally very skeptical of buying quote-unquote untested JAMA PCBs, especially from a seller that sells other PCBs, you know, other JAMA PCBs tested, because you can basically test any JAMA PCB in any working JAMA cabinet. But in this case, I think the reason that it's untested is this is a filthy PCB. So this is a 2-board stack connected with some ribbon cables. And on the top here, you can see there's a ton of, I don't know if this is like mud wasp or dirt dauber, like the remnants of a nest. And there's a little bit of it going on the other side too, like over here. So we're going to try to clean all that off and then test it out and hopefully find that this board is actually working. Other than this dirt that we're going to clean up, it looks pretty good. I don't notice any real damage. Everything looks intact. I've looked over and I haven't seen anything missing. Yeah, I'm excited to try to clean this up. So I've cleaned chassis, monitor chassis PCBs on the channel before, but not ever a PCB. And this is the dirtiest PCB that I've personally ever attempted to clean. So, I'm going to try to use some isopropyl alcohol. This is 91% isopropyl alcohol. Pay no attention to the absolutely filthy spray bottle that it's in. And I've got a brand new soft bristle brush that we'll use to sort of, agitate it and kind of knock some of this stuff loose. I've got a soft toothbrush that we'll kind of scrub a little bit with. And I'll also use my air compressor and we'll blow it sort of clean. So my plan of attack, generally speaking, is I'm going to take the board apart, take the stack apart, disconnect the 2 boards. I'll use the soft bristle brush initially to try to knock as much of the loose debris loose, and then I'll hit it with the isopropyl alcohol. We'll scrub it up with the toothbrush. We'll get that all cleaned up. We'll take a look at how things are at that point. I might take it under the sink and rinse it. I know you're really not supposed to use tap water. Maybe I'll run out and grab some distilled water. And then the most important thing is we're going to let this dry, just like we have when I clean a chassis PCB. I'm going to let it dry for probably at least a day or 2 before we attempt to power this thing back up. The biggest question mark for me is what I should do with the socketed chips. I don't actually think there's a ton of socketed chips on this board. I don't see any on this side at all. These are all soldered in. And there's really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 socketed chips on this side. So I might actually pull all of them off, to avoid any water kind of getting stuck in the socket. So I think at some point, I'll take a picture to kind of really make sure I'm putting these in the right spots. There's a large 68,000 CPU right here. That obviously won't be hard to remember where that goes. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ROMs. And I don't know what this is. This is a chip that's in a socket that's a little bit bigger than what it's designed for. So anyway, hopefully I'll be able to preserve this WWF Superstars sticker right here, even though it's already kind of ripped up a little bit. But yeah, excited to get cracking. So again, the first thing I want to do is disconnect, separate these 2 boards. So I'm going to disconnect the ribbon cable right here by pulling on these releases to pull that off. And that's really got some tension to it. Okay. Yeah, we'll do that one. Okay. So that should be good. And now the only thing that should be holding these boards together now are these spacers. So let me grab some needle nose pliers and kind of help those spacers come apart. So these have these little like fins that you got to kind of push back in. And I think that's starting to go. We'll do this one here. So I am of the right age to have a lot of nostalgia for this era of wrestling. I remember, in the late 80s, all the big names, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior and all those folks, you know, were just kind of everywhere in movies, you know, commercials, you name it. They were part of that scene. And then obviously, you know, the Attitude Era of the late 90s with Stone Cold and The Rock and Undertaker and Mankind and Generation X and all that sort of stuff. Just, you know, very, very fond memories of all of that. So we'll look kind of in between the two boards. Again, we've got a little bit of debris here, but, you know, otherwise these boards look like they're in phenomenal, phenomenal shape. Suppose I'll take the ribbon cables off completely. I'll put these over here for safekeeping. You always want to be delicate with PCBs. All right, right, and I could probably get away with firing this up as is, but I don't want any sort of, I don't know, having heat issues or anything like that. So I kind of want to play it safe. Let me take this tag off. And yeah, I bought this at auction from Jaybird Auctions. This is the same auction house that I got my Future Spy from. So I've had good success, even though that, I mean, that wasn't working, but it also wasn't claimed to be working. So let's see, let's actually stand that capacitor up. Okay, we'll take these spacers off. All right, there we go. All 4 of those spacers have been removed. We'll flip it over. I want to take the standoffs off as well. I'll use my screwdriver for that. You know, I really kind of stopped watching professional wrestling, I guess, in the early 2000s. You know, I remember obviously the competition between WWF and WCW and I guess ECW and then later TNA, but I guess I kind of stopped watching once you know, WWF bought WCW and ECW. That's really kind of where I guess I lost interest. You know, other things were going on in my life. Maybe took precedent, and even these standoffs, these PCB feet are filthy. So I don't know where this came from. Some sort of environment where, you know, these bugs like to get into cabinets and build nests. But yeah, for me, you know, it was really those 2 eras of wrestling were the best. I guess they call it the golden era of the mid to late 80s, and then the late 90s Attitude Era. Those were really kind of the tops for me. And come on. You know, I had been wanting to maybe pick up a wrestling PCB for a while. And most people will tell you that WWF WrestleFest, which I think came out 2 or 3 years after Superstars, is the better game, and they're probably right. But for me, the roster of Superstars on WWF Superstars is a little bit more my cup of tea. So just kind of getting the lay of the land here and seeing what's going on. So I'm going to take my brand new soft bristle brush out of the wrapper and just see what is going to happen by trying to knock this stuff loose. And it's really not much. This really is not doing anything at all. Feel like I'm a little bit of a archaeologist at a dig, trying to get some fossils out. I guess a little bit better with a toothbrush, but still, this stuff is really kind of on there rough. All right, so not great, but I was able to knock, you know, some of the debris off with the toothbrush and kind of scraping it with the back a little bit. There's really, on the legs here, it's just really worked in. I guess it's starting to break loose a little bit. But I think what I'm going to do is work in sections with the isopropyl and kind of wet it down a little bit. Hopefully that will help kind of break up and dissolve this stuff. You know, the isopropyl will evaporate pretty quickly, so yeah, so let me go ahead and do that. All right, a couple sprays there, and we'll see if that helps. You know, it certainly makes it harder to see. Makes all that material darker. and kind of trickier to tell where it is. Okay, quick update on my progress. This is the side that I've been working on the most, and it's working. You can see we're still getting some remnants here, so I'll probably keep scrubbing this a little bit, a couple more times with isopropyl and the toothbrush, and then I will ultimately rinse this. Maybe I'll run out and grab some distilled water. We'll see. The underside really isn't bad at all. Just a little bit of brushing with the soft bristle brush really took care of all that. Over here, I'm about to get started on the, I don't know what you would call this, the main side, the socketed side. It says it's the P1 board, and the other one is the P2. So I think what my plan of attack on this one is, I'm going to try to knock everything off dry as much as possible, and then wet it with the isopropyl and use the toothbrush, and try to get that as good as possible. And then maybe rinse it the first time, remove the socketed chips, take really good notes on where these chips are. So we've got our 6800 right there, 24AD right here, 24AC. There's a chip marked A right there, B right here, 9 right here, and it looks like an unmarked socketed chip right there. So I take really good notes on where those socketed chips are, and then remove them and clean everything all over again, and rinse it, and then use the air compressor to blow everything dry, because I don't really want to get this wet and then let it dry with the socketed chips inserted in the sockets, just because I don't want any moisture to get trapped in there and cause corrosion and all kinds of bad stuff. So let me go and do that. We'll see how far I get, and then I'll come back with another progress update. All right, it's been a little bit over 24 hours later, and I have finished cleaning the WWF Superstars PCB. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I'd say it's certainly a million times better than it was before. I finished, basically scrubbing everything off with the toothbrush and the isopropyl, and I did remove the all of the socketed ICs on this board. I've got them for safekeeping over on the workbench. I then did rinse these boards off in the sink with hot tap water. And I know, probably not a great idea to use tap water, but then I did rinse it off again with isopropyl. The reason I used the tap water is because I could get some pressure, from the faucet to, kind of get in there and hopefully knock everything loose. And then I rinsed it again with the isopropyl, like I said, and then I rinsed it once more with some distilled water. So hopefully everything should be good. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better. There's a little bit of this, I don't know, cloudy kind of residue. I'm not sure where that comes from. Isopropyl isn't supposed to leave any kind of residue, but I often see some. I don't know if it reacts with flux or something, but I think we're pretty good. And our Superstars sticker is still mostly intact. So yeah, it's been drying for a little bit over 24 hours. I've actually got the boards hanging on my shop vac, and this shop vac has been running for at least 12 hours out of those 24 plus. So want to let it dry just a little bit longer. I'll show you over here in the workshop. Here are the ROM chips, or the socketed chips that I pulled. A couple of them, the isopropyl actually took off some of the ink that was printed on the sticker, so I used a Sharpie and kind of drew them back on. But yeah, those are nice and safe over here. None of the legs were broken, anything like that. For most of them, I actually used this IC extraction tool that I got from my buddy and Overtime Arcade channel member Russell, who gifted this to me. This works great for pulling chips sort of straight off of sockets. But for this big 68,000 chip, I had to use my old reliable sort of chip lifter tool, which is like the world's smallest crowbar. I'll have links down in the video description if you're interested in picking up some of those for yourself. But yeah, I want to actually let these boards dry just a little bit longer before reassembling them and powering them up. So in the meantime, we've got 2 more JAMA boards that I wanted to test. And so we'll come over here to my Taito Superman in a Dynamo HS7, which is kind of a nice, real, readily available JAMA test rig. So we'll get set up right here on the tripod. So this board that I've got installed here right now, I took the Superman PCB out. This board should be somewhat familiar to regular viewers of the channel. I have yet another Golden Tee PCB. This one happens to be Golden Tee 2000 or Golden Tee 2K. This was sold as tested and working, so I'm hoping my luck with Golden Tee PCBs finally shapes up, because I've got that Golden Tee project sort of buried in the back here, which is really a Golden Tee 99, but I'm not super worried about that because it's really intended for a buddy's place, although I haven't talked to him for a while and I hope he's still interested in it. Anyway, I've got this plugged in. I also got this PCB from Jaybird Auctions as well, which is where I got the WWF Superstars PCB from. So let's cross our fingers, power this thing up, and hopefully it works. 3, 2, 1. All right, we've got 2 blinking lights on the PCB. I hope that's a good sign. All right, we are upside down, which is okay. Let me change the camera settings here and turn off the house lights. All right, so hopefully, whoa! Whoa! I was just about to say, hopefully you can read that. It's upside down. I understand that. We can always deal with that. There might even be a dip switch setting. I got some things on the screen there. It said voltage low. I don't know what to make of that. And it was basically a test menu. But this game looks like it's running. It says insert. Is it going faster than it should through the attract mode? It is upside down. Let me go check something real quick and see if there's a way for me to flip the image on with the dip switch settings. Hang on real quick. All right, I checked the manual in various places online, and there is not a dip switch setting to flip the monitor. So either I would need to, or flip the image, either I would need to flip the monitor itself or reverse the yoke wires, and I don't want to do that right here, so I'm sorry. You've got to see Golden Tee upside down, but we do have, in fact, a working Golden Tee 2K board here. I'm going to try to coin it up. That's one. There we go. Okay. We've coined up. And of course, I don't have a trackball. I've just got a joystick, so I don't know if anything's gonna work. Yeah. Nothing's... It's taking input, but nothing I do on the joysticks. Press start. Here we go. Yeah, I can't, unfortunately, it can't advance past this, but it's reading my inputs, so. All right, well, that's good. So far, we've got one working game board, so, and that'll be good. That's good news. I'll use this on my Golden Tee, and I'm either going to leave this as Golden Tee 2K, or the ROMs on my Golden Tee 99 boards probably work, so I can figure out which ones they are and swap them in. I bet you it might just be these 4 and these 4, because the rest all say GT99 or GT98, so it might just be those 8 ROM chips to swap out. So anyway, I'm going to power this down. Very, very happy with this so far, and we'll put in our second PCB that we're going to test. All right, and here's our next JAMA PCB, and it's a small one and not anything to get really excited about. This is a 19-in-1 multi-board that I bought recently on eBay. You know, I've had the 16-in-1 board for a while, which is really a bunch of vertical games. The 19-in-1 gives you horizontal games, and most of my JAMA cabinets are horizontal, so I figured, hey, you know, I found it for cheap, and figured why not have this to be able to do testing or whatever. Again, you know, I like using these cheap multi-boards to test JAMA setups without having to risk damaging potentially expensive original classic boards. So here we go. Let's fire it up. 3, 2, 1. We got lights on the board. Let's see if we get an image on the screen. Now, if this is like the 16 one, that sounded like Robotron to me. All right, this one is upside down too. So let me check. Maybe it's set to boot directly to Defender. Let me check the dip switch settings for this and see if I can get it to boot into the menu instead. Okay, fortunately, this board does have a dip switch that allows you to flip the screen, so I've got that switch thrown. I've also got it set to test so that when we boot it up, we can get into a soft dip menu to change more of the settings. So let's power this up again, 3, 2, 1. All right, and should boot up into a test mode. The seller actually even included the manual with the game. So there we are. Let's see, S2, here we go. Next, clear high score, no. Game, dip switch. These colors are weird. Let me look this up real quick and see what I want for, I want free play. Well, actually, I can just go down here. Whoops. I want to turn these all on. See, Defender, Stargate, Bubbles, Joust, Robotron, Blaster, Splat, Rally X, Battle City, Mario Bros. We're turning them all on. New Rally X, Ghosts and Goblins, Solomon's Key, Gradius, Sky Kid, Ice Climber, Super Mario Bros. Do Run Run. Huh, we've got that. Kick Rider. And that's it. So S2 is next. Defender, next. Switch through all of these. I don't really want to mess with the game. Individual game settings. That's fine. I/O test. S3, uh-oh. I don't have a third button. Uh-oh. It says S3 for last, maybe. All right, I'm gonna have to reboot this. I don't have a 3-button set up for this. Hopefully I'll be able to navigate to where I need to be, and hopefully it saved those settings too. Goodness gracious. All right, S2 is next. S2 is next. All right, free play is on. And setup. I think I'm done. Will this save the setting? Yes, it did save free play. So let's go ahead and, oh, it didn't save these though. Okay. On. Turn all the games back on. Okay, maybe I press start to set up okay. All right. All right, let's turn that off. And hopefully, I mean, it saved the free play setting, so hopefully the having all of the games enabled is good too. Yes, we've got all of them enabled, I think. So let me go ahead and turn this off. And I'm going to do the dip switch, the physical dip switch to put this back onto normal, not test mode. And we'll power this bad boy up. And I'll hit the house lights. And hopefully we are in business. All right. Yep, for whatever reason, the menu takes a while to initialize. So I'm going to let this go. I'll let this initialization go, and then we'll come back and sort of see how these games look on the 19-in-1. All right, I guess my colors are a little bit messed up here. I don't know what's going on. Or the ROMs are screwed up, something. Let's try some bubbles. All right, this looks like bubbles. All right. There's a little bit of, whoops. I think my joystick is a bit dirty. All right. Yeah, the sounds are terrible. Oh, I can barely go up with this joystick. Oh, I need to be able to go up. Nope. Come on. Yeah, the colors are messed up, but I think that might be an adjustment issue. Missed it. Man, I gotta clean these joysticks before they go to Mark's Arcade. Man, okay, not so great, but hey, it works, right? It needs a little bit of adjusting, but I'd say this 19-in-1 board works. So we're 2 for 2 so far. So why don't we go ahead and bring you back to the workbench. We'll put the Superstars PCB back together and see if that one works too. All right, here's our cleaned up PCB, or at least the board from the board set with the socketed chips. So I'm pretty confident that everything is dry. So I'm going to go ahead and install these chips back in. I double and triple check sort of where everything goes, and it should just be a matter of dropping them in and carefully plugging them back into place. All right. Oh, wow. That looks good. There was a little debris that I kind of blew out of the way. And then this one goes here. And because the legs were already in the sockets, I don't need to worry about sort of bending them to fit. I just need to make sure that they don't bend underneath when they get inserted. This one's a little bit strange in that the socket is larger than the chip. So, and I even made a note on this sheet to leave 2 spots open at the top. All right. So far, so good. Drop this one in, marked A. Okay. This is the D chip. Sorry if my head's getting in the way. I'm just making sure that all of these legs are lined up in the socket positions. And this is the C chip from 24AC. And finally, our 68,000. All right, this has a lot of legs. Almost knocked the shop van over. Shop fan. Okay. All right, I'm going to take a quick look with my flashlight just to see if I can see any legs bent over, which isn't perfect, but it's better than nothing. All right, I think we're good. So all the chips are back in. I also went and double checked the dip switch settings, and there is no free play built into the board. So I've got everything set to the defaults, which has all 8 switches on both dip banks set to off. And through the magic of television, I've essentially already assembled the second board. And all I did was put the mounting feet on and put the spacers in. So I should be able to just drop our top board into place. snap on the spacers. 1, 2, 3, 4, and reconnect the little ribbon cables, which I believe are identical and they're polarized, so I think, or they don't really matter. That's what I should be saying. So here we go. And I think we are ready for a test. So I'm gonna go stick this in the cabinet and then we'll come over and fire this bad boy up. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, we're all hooked up. We're plugged into the JAMA harness in my Superman cabinet, the Dynamo HS7. Just double checking that the JAMA harness is seated. I'm nervous, right? Because I bought this thing untested. You know, shame on me for buying an untested JAMA PCB, but that's what it is. So this will be our first test, and hopefully everything works. So keep your fingers crossed for me. 3, 2, 1. Okay, I don't see any lights on the board. Oh, okay, look at that! Yeah! Look at that! It's working! Now the monitor, I think this monitor needs some work. It's got some pinkish hues on the monitor. Look at that. Hulk Hogan, it's upside down. It looks a little bit better on camera than it does in person. I think I need to do a cap kit on this monitor. Let me, that is way, way, way too loud. I'm gonna grab a tool and we can adjust the volume. You know, these JAMA didn't have a, all right, JAMA didn't have a pinout for a volume control, so usually there's a pot right on the board. But I'd say this thing is working perfectly. So here's what I'm gonna do. I am going to hit the dip switch setting to flip the screen. You want to change dip switches when the game is off. And I'll get that flipped. I'll get the camera all set up. I'll turn off the house lights. And we'll play a little bit of WWF Superstars. Oh yeah! All right, we've got a working WWF Superstars PCB. Yeah, this monitor needs a little bit of work. We've got some pinkish hues in the background. I've got it set now where it looks about the same in person as it does on camera, so I definitely need to recap this monitor. I haven't done that before, but yeah, look at that, Hulk Hogan. Just some, and I think he's wrestling the Honky Tonk Man right there. Look at that. And it's probably, is that Macho Man in the corner, his tag partner, the Ultimate Warrior. Just such iconic wrestlers. You know, to me, I don't think they make them like they used to, right? Between the golden era here and then the Attitude Era, you know, since then, you know, if you're into wrestling now, look at that, Andre the Giant and $1 Million Man and Mean Gene Okerlund. There's Macho Man right there. You know, fighting Big Boss Man, right? You know, if you're into wrestling now, I totally respect that, but yeah, just where's the gimmicks, right? Where's the sort of nicknames and get-ups and all that sort of stuff? I mean, that certainly speaks to me, so. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and I think on the flyer it calls him King Duggan. I don't even remember that as a sort of gimmick for him, but I'm going to go ahead and coin up the game, and let's see if I can reach in and not screw anything up.
I'll put you to sleep with
Whoa.
my $1 million dream.
There we go. Now we've got a credit on. And hopefully I can play this without the up button working properly. And of course we're going to pick Randy Savage. And Hulk Hogan. Whoops. Oh, it gave me, okay, 3 more victories to get the WWF Live from New York. So I guess I have Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I really wanted Hulk Hogan as my tag partner here, because this game, get out of here, bug. This game is tag only. They don't have different, oh, there we go. Is that a suplex? Yeah, this joystick is messed up. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, some bug out of here. Oh, he's going to tag his partner. I'll tag mine. Here we go. Here's Hacksaw Jim Duggan against Honky Tonk Man. Oh, what was that? I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, here we go. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to maybe do a better gameplay. There we go. That's something. Maybe I knocked myself out. Quick cover. Nope. Can't even get the 2. Oh, I got tossed there. Uh-oh. Like I said, I'm not really sure how to play this. Oh, man. I'm going to have to do maybe a better gameplay video once I figure out exactly what I'm supposed to do and maybe recap and fix this monitor. Maybe I'll do that for WrestleMania. What do you think? But we'll play one quick match here. There we go. He can get the 2. Now I'm fighting his partner. There we go. 1, 2. Oh, that was a really slow count. Let's tag in Macho Man. There we go. Kick him. Kick him while he's down. Oh, I got tossed. And I'm kind of awkwardly grabbing the sticks. Oh, I really don't know what the buttons do. I'm just button mashing right here. Here we go. That's something. Elbow drop, elbow drop, elbow drop, elbow drop. Oh, missed one. Come on, Randy. Oh, back breaker, neck breaker, something. Now he's just messing with me. Oh, I got flipped. I guess I just pounded this. Oh, man. Macho Man goes down. We've been had. We demand a rematch. Unjustifiably in a position I'd rather not be in. So this was a ton of fun. We're not going to continue. Game over. What what a nostalgic trip down memory lane. So I'm glad we got this thing working. Otherwise, this wouldn't have been much of a video. But thanks for bearing with me through all of this. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any episodes that I put together. I release a new video typically every Sunday. Sometimes I throw in a live stream or something like that. Let's say, I know we've got the Coin Jam podcast coming up this week. We live stream that and then put that on Spotify and anywhere you might listen to podcasts. If you like what I'm doing, hit that like button. Share this video with someone else who might enjoy this. Do you remember this era of pro wrestling? Did you ever play WWF Superstars in the arcade? Comment down below. Tell me about those memories. And if you really, really like what I'm doing, click that join button down below to learn more about what it means to become an Overtime Arcade channel member. You get access to some awesome perks like monthly members only live stream, early access to all new videos. We've got a private members only Discord, which is super active and a lot of fun, hanging out with a bunch of fellow fans of the channel and folks who like the same kind of stuff that you do. And all of that can be yours for just $1.99 a month, which is about 7 cents a day. A great way to support the channel. Get out of here, Fly. Is that Superfly Jimmy Snuka? And yeah, if looking for other ways to support the channel, I've got a merch shop. You can buy a t-shirt or a hoodie or a hat or something like that. But even if you don't want to do any of that, just watching this video means a ton to me. So thank you so much for that. So yeah, with that, I think I think that'll about do it. As always, thanks for watching Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!